Hey everybody, I'm talking today about accommodations and behavior intervention plans. Just kind of giving you an overview so that you understand what exactly you need to be looking for. So this video is going to help you with that. First things is that we're going to talk about is accommodations. And accommodations are for students with learning and attention issues that may need to learn material differently than other students in your class. Your accommodations are designed to give your students a way to learn and demonstrate knowledge of the same material as the other students in your class. So that's what they're meant for. We all know as teachers that students all learn differently. They all have different learning styles, and they all have different ways of getting the material. And this is a way in order for these students who do have disabilities within learning and and attention, how they can be successful in your classroom.
This is what an accommodation sheet looks like. It will have the student's name at the top. Obviously I took that out for now, but if you look at the accommodation sheet, you will see that on the side over here it has general education. Now if they're in a resource class or anything else, that'll be listed also on this side, possibly for special accommodations for resource math, resource English, anything like that. You can see that general education is for any other classroom, any classroom. So that's ag, that's PE, that's any of your CTE classes, any of your computer classes, and tested subjects, non-tested subjects, all that stuff. You'll see that some might have oral administration, some might teacher check for understanding, which I would think that most of y'all do anyway. Provide visual cues, those kind of things. Copy teacher notes after they've had a chance to look at them. And then the weekly consultation with the tracking teacher, that's usually just for mainstream kids who are just in general education and no resource. But there's also response accommodations, which is like extended time, that kind of thing. And a lot of the times the special group access, small group for testing, that kind of stuff, is also going to be an accommodation on their STAR test if they are taking the STAR test in that year. Preferential seating, a lot of times if you know the student ahead of time or once you get going in your classroom, you'll know that you know to move that student in a place where they're going to be most successful. You also see at the very bottom type 1 accommodations. That's usually going to be for state assessment also. So a lot of the accommodations that are down here will also be up here in some way or form.
Behavior intervention plans. What are they? The behavior intervention plan is a plan that's designed to teach and reward positive behaviors. This can prevent or stop problem behaviors in your classroom. The BIP is based on the results of an FBA, which is given either by our district LSSP or our DIAG that is on campus, which is Natalie Rose or Deanna Ingholm. And an FBA is a functional behavioral assessment. And so with that, the IEP team can get together, or the ARD committee can get together and decide what is the best things that are going to help this student in the classroom, and teachers to be on the road for positive behaviors, or to aid the students with behavioral issues, and help them to be able to function in a regular classroom as much as possible.
This is what a sample of a behavior intervention plan is going to look like. You'll get this electronically if you do have a student who has one of these. The biggest thing to make sure that you pay attention to is the target behavior right here. That's kind of what is going on with them, what they might do, disruptive behavior, and then it'll be specific about what they do. Then the replacement, which you want them to be compliant with whatever you do in your classroom. Mastery criteria, this is what we're kind of looking for them to do, kind of like a goal for them. Your reinforcers are going to be something that you really want to pay attention to. These are things that you can do in your classroom to help that student. And this is also a legally binding document. So if you're not doing these things, we could possibly be in some kind of a litigation because of it. And then here are your interventions over here. Interact with the student, set limits, all of these different things are things that you can help with on this side. So it's really important that you pay attention when you get these documents through email, the accommodation sheet and this behavior intervention plan if you do have students. This will give you, kind of enlighten you to the student and the behavior of the student if you do have a student with behavior issues in your class. And you could kind of, you know, be ready and know what you need to implement in your classroom beforehand when you do get these sheets.